there.
It
And
is.
we are live right
Hey,
now.
we're live.
Live. Now it's Chris. I want you to teach me how to say your last name. Is it
Markert, almost like the supermarket. It's kind of funny
Markert?
because
Markert.
Markert, yeah, that's actually like the. But you see, you got it right because most people actually write without the last T, so they make me always to a supermarket, which is
Well,
kind of funny. I even had credit cards in the States that actually were saying Chris Markert, and I said, really?
oh, that would be super annoying.
Especially
oh,
when they do
yeah.
ID verification and they said this doesn't
Oh,
match, and I'm like,
no.
yeah.
That's an, the reason I even said that is because I haven't seen that as a last name before or first name. I haven't seen that as a name
Yeah.
before. So what country of origin is that last name?
The last name is coming from Germany. My dad used to be is German actually, and so yeah, my mom being French. Originally, the family comes from the French side, from Marseille, but obviously, I grew up in the States, so go figure.
Yeah. No, no, I mean that's still exotic to me. I'm like all happy. um, did you know that yeah, this is like trivia, but Bob Berg is how we connect to each other. Did you know Bob's sidekick 99, Kathy Tay
Yeah,
Janelle, she
yeah.
made her last name up. Tay
No.
Janelle, yes, she created that last name herself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I love that. I don't know. I just love that. That's a yeah. I wish I had the intestinal fortitude to do that. Right. I've had my current name too long to change it, but that
Where's
is
your name coming from originally? This is
oh,
almost
but
like
see,
a very
I've been married twice. My maiden name had no particular meaning for me because I was estranged from my father. So when I got, this is my second husband's name,
all right.
who I divorced 10 years ago. So I don't have any connection to the last name. It just is a random last name I happen to have. And I didn't want to keep it, but I'd already wrote books and everything. So
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't want to have to rebrand with a name just for my own peace of mind. So I kept the name, but it's it's like having a tick under your saddle, you know. And that's why I'm looking at Kathy going, "Oh God, that's so awesome!" Right. So we have already on here. Let's say somebody wrote, "I don't get to see your name unless you agree to the StreamYard rules, I guess." But someone said, "Look at you two hotties." I love being a hottie. That's awesome. And
Thank
bonjour, that must be Estelle. That would be my guess.
Bonjour, Estelle.
Tamara.
Yes, it probably
And
is.
Tamara is from Michigan. She's one of my best buddies.
All
So
right.
her and I are going. Oh no, she's not going with me this trip. Say in a couple of weeks I'm going to California. But Tamara and I were just in Las Vegas not too long ago together.
How
So
was Vegas actually? I was going to ask you earlier. It's like, okay, how was Vegas?
oh, it was great. Yeah, of course. I live in rural New Hampshire, so just going someplace where there's other people is awesome.
It's awesome, and
There's like
especially
four of us here in New Hampshire, right? There's like four people.
especially after the pandemic and the limitations that we had to go through. I think it's just been everybody is just dying to do that. I'm actually going
Right.
in December
Yeah.
to Germany, which is just a
Oh,
short
nice.
trip, but I'm going to see one of my friends. And then I have planned to go in the beginning of the year to the Caribbean,
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
either Bermudas or Bahamas. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, well, it's been sad because traditionally, me and my kid have gone on cruises every year for school vacation, and we had this is bizarre, but we came back the weekend before everything shut down in the cruise industry. We were on a cruise,
Yeah.
and luckily that got accomplished because I'm like, phew, for the last year and a half, because I spent a lot of money on that to have a suite and all that, and they would have tied that money up, and then who
Yeah.
knows when we're going to get to cruise now. So I was so happy we got that accomplished. It's like,
And, and
phew.
you're and you're lucky that you didn't get stuck on it because so many people got stuck on the boats because
Right.
they wouldn't allow to leave
Yeah.
them. Yeah, like here in Europe, some of the boats got locked down and they had to sit on sea for like almost 2 weeks with
Oh,
no food supplies, no nothing. And it was just a nightmare because they kept getting cases on board the boats. And that is saying, hi, Marion's.
yeah, yeah, Marion, her nickname's Penny. We all call her Penny. Hi,
Penny.
Penny. Yeah, and hello from Kansas.
Oh,
Yay,
yeah,
yay, yay. Yeah, so we know each other from the Success Alliance. Now,
go
I
Gary.
joined that the beginning of last year because one of my goals for the year, sorry about the chaos in the background, that's my dog with a squeak toy.
No, that's good.
Yeah, yeah, my life is like that. But anyway, the beginning of last year, I said to myself, if my business is going to grow, I need to meet different people, more people and different people. And
Yeah.
just so happened, not long after that, I was talking to Bob Berg about something else, and he told me about this, and I'm like, perfect. This is
Yeah.
perfect, and it has been perfect. I've got to meet so many new people. So tell me, how did you happen to find know Bob and find the group?
That is a good question actually, because obviously I'm in the self-development business and as a coach, and I mean I probably not as much as Bob, because I think nobody can read that many books as Bob reads. But I read a lot of books, and the funny thing is, just a friend of mine, I was sitting in a training actually, and a friend of mine was talking about the book and how much that has changed her business. Um, and
Oh, the Go
so I
Giver
read,
books.
yeah,
The
the
Go
Go
Giver
Giver.
books. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Go Giver books. So I actually went on one of my favorite shopping places is Amazon, unfortunately, and I go I go into these shopping sprays moments where I just buy an amount of books, like 20, 30 books. My Kindle is my second love of life, right? So it's just like I have my Kindle. I mean, I have a lot of other books as well, which are really paper books, but by the amount of books I read and buy, I would have to get an extension to the house because it's just not really funny. So obviously, I never came across Bob until then. So I started to read the book. I bought it on Amazon. I started in the evening. I just sat down and started reading. I read this entire book within 3 hours. I went through it like I ate it. I literally ate it up, and I thought this story was. Now, obviously, as a self-development person, I look at things, what does it teach me, right? So the core value of being the go-giver has been always a value that I appreciated my entire life. I always believed that it was more important to give value to people than to always look at the business side of things. But however, running a business as well, you always look at the bottom line. And if you read a bit on my webpage, my story, I have been in the C-suites, I've been running big hotel chains and everything. But what I always disliked somehow was this bottom line focus. You forget about the people that you're interacting with on a daily basis. And so this message really resonated with me. And I said, even looking at my own business, I said, well, I'm really still very money focused. Coaching executives, that's what I do. I specialize on ADHD adults because I have ADHD myself. And that's really one thing I help, because ADHD is we can talk about it later, is a thing that is just, we're talking about ADHD children nowadays, and all the time, and every child that is a bit more active is automatically ADHD and has hyperactivity. And like people say, oh, everybody is a bit ADHD. Well, that's not the case, but we're getting to that point where we have to have the adults to you don't grow out of it. Even when you become older, you don't grow out of it. You adapt to it, and there are reasons why you adapt to it, or you don't even adapt. It's your partner that comes into your life that helps you to adapt with your defaults, which I don't want to consider ADHD as a default. I call it my superpower, actually. But you have to have strategies to get through these moments where you can't do. So that's what I was focused on. And then I coach C-suite executives, because you will be surprised that exactly the executives where we think like they are the most successful people in life, they are actually the people that have the most connection problems, and even looking, as I said, at bottom lines they look at, but they don't have any interpersonal communications anymore. that when you look at C-suite executives, the rate of divorce, etc.,
Oh,
drug, alcohol addiction, etc., it is massive. It is massive. And they do think most of the time in the beginning, they don't think they need help. Why they don't think? Because they think they are so successful, they have it all done. But actually, they're very lonely people, and I see that on a daily basis when I coach people, where they have like the most simple communication, they have issues. So obviously, I try to change, and when I started to join the Success Alliance, and after reading and read more from the influencer book, oh, what kind of book is it?
I don't know what you would call their Heinz 57 mixed breed.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We've got a little bit of everything from, I don't know, it's Staffordshire Terrier to Chihuahua, a little bit. I got the DNA thing, and it was like, whoa.
I used to have Dalmatians, but I had in total in my life I had about 6 Dalmatians, and
wow.
I don't have one since I moved to the UK. My last one died in Germany about 5 years ago. So when I moved to the UK, I didn't get a new one, but I'm still thinking about it. But then again, now the pandemic is over and things picking up, being motivational speaker, traveling around.
Oh, you'll be traveling more.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. And I'm an avid single. and a proud single, actually.
I have my own hashtag team single.
Yeah, exactly. I have
absolutely
the hashtag 2 times divorce have passed me already as well.
Yes.
So like, I'm
me
happy
too.
about it.
Yes,
it's like this is where you get to the point where you say, okay, fine, that's good. I'm very happy. So I would have to find somebody to take care of the dog, and I don't think it's fair to the dog actually. But I love dogs.
Right, and I can't imagine kenneling the dog. We just got the dog a year and a half ago, but now my kid acts like traveling is an imposition that I forced him to do. It's because he's been traveling with me since he was 2 months old, and we've been many places. But now he acts like it was forced upon him. So it's like, yay, you can stay home and watch the dog. Well, I continue on with my traveling. You know what I want to say? Estelle said, I can help you with that clutter in the back, Lisa. Now, listen, Estelle, you'll notice that if you look at older videos, my clutter is actually down by a whole bunch, and that's because of you, my dear. I'm sorting through it. I just don't sort it in organized way. So see that one shelf right there, that one's sorted, but I've taken out boxes and boxes of stuff. So that's because of you. That's
and she's such so actually Estelle and I were building a community, like now a mastermind community for C executives actually. And
awesome.
and I mean I had Estelle, I had a really long interview with her on our show. We had her on the virtual summit recently, and she's amazing, and I really love what she does. Her work is amazing, because I just recently did myself the decluttering the Marie Kondo way, where I actually went and took the Spark book and actually started clearing out my cupboard, and I found I have this mountain of clothes in front of me. Now that for an ADHD brain is unsurmountable, actually. You're just like, my God, how much clothes do you have in your cupboard? It's really ridiculous. But so I narrowed it down so much. It's just like there's so much space in my cupboard right now. It's amazing. But it made me happy, and you don't realize how much it takes actually away your breathing space, which we talk about. It's really, but when you do the decluttering and you see, automatically there's a complete different energy in your house, because you're actually getting rid of it. And I say it's really, and I know we're getting emotionally touched to these things, but when you let go of it and when you do it the right way, because like Marie Kondo, and I know Asta loves Marie Kondo as well, where she says, take the item, hold it against your heart, and look if it sparks joy to you. If it doesn't, thank it for the service that it's given to you.
But see, some things that wouldn't work. I'd be getting rid of all my bras, and that's not a good idea, really. See, because those
they don't spark joy to you.
Oh, no. They'd all be gone, right? Oh, all I'd have left is like pajamas. That's what I'd be having left, right? So, but yeah, no, to me, I am not that caring about my background in the calls, which I probably should be. I was more worried about every day I try to um, eliminate and organize something back there. So that's what it is. But anyway,
Well, anyway,
yeah.
so when we come back to the Go Giver, and that's
Oh, yeah,
one,
sorry.
I'm bringing the Go Giver to. I'm obviously trying to get my clients as well to understand, because I do believe that the most important thing, and that's we're coming back to the saying, catch the snake at the head, right?
Mhm.
So, and that's where it is, and they have impact. Obviously, they do have impact on their employees, and some of them CEOs have like 5,000-6,000 employees. And when they're not in the right way and are not in the right mind frame, they automatically will not look at their employees. So the employees get unhappy, and there's thousands of people under them get impacted by them, obviously, the way how they act and how they approach business from the get-go, actually. So you would say, like, there's some companies, they're very pushy the way how they operate, and you can see even their customer service when you call them. You can tell that the customer service is just really abrupt, and they don't argue with you and everything. And then you have other companies, like, we're giving a very good example here, Apple, where you see how Steve Jobs has run this company always in a go-giver way. He always believed his employees were his biggest asset in the company. While he was a bit, to be honest, and I'm not really being mean here, he was a bit narcissistic himself, actually, on that point. But he always believed that there was more to give to the people and change the world, the way how we operate nowadays, and etc. And you can see how the employees of Apple are very happy and very helpful. It is what we're talking about. Go Giver, is it a value? Is it a monetary value system? No, it is not. And that's what a lot of people get confused when they read or hear about the Go Giver principles, where they think it's all about what is the money value to it. And I know you had Bob on the show where he explained very clearly with the accountant, which is one of his favorite examples, where he says you go to an accountant and you pay $1,000, and she gives you back paperwork that make you get $5,000 back in taxes. So she has given you way more value than you actually paid for it. And that, having this set of mind and putting that in today's corporate America or corporate world, is a very, very important way to do it, to support your employees, your customers, in a go-giver way. And you will see that you're way more successful, because actually it comes back to you. And that is where I'm a very, very strong believer of the universe. I don't have any religious belief anymore. As you probably read, I was in a cult, and I don't really want to talk about them because they have been running behind me for a long time. So I try to keep them far away from me. But to be very honest, I do believe in the universe, and I do believe in and I do actually believe. We had this conversation with Kathy, I think, one day. We were talking about, do we believe in aliens? And she said, yes, I do, because she said, we can't believe, and that is a bit of the arrogance that we have as a human being sometimes, that we think we are the center of the universe, while the universe is massive and immense. Yeah. And we when we look back in 1600s, we were believing we were still a disc, right? So now we know that we are actually a globe. And we said, okay, we had the way how our planet system was set, and now finally figured out that one of the planets is not actually a planet, it's a star. And so we actually evaluating over the time, but we look at the massive way of the universe that we can't even see at the moment with our equipment that we have right now. How can we believe that we actually are the only intelligent being in this universe, which is kind of silly to actually think that. So obviously I do believe in the universe, and I believe in energies, and so I say that. And if you send out the positive energies, and that's where I think I recently read a book of a very good coach as well here in the UK, and she puts it really nicely. She said, so if you tune into universe, like look at a radio station, if you tune into Universe FM, you will pretty much get a back answers from Universe FM, and you will get what you put in actually like this. If you tune into Shit FM, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get shit back in return. And I thought that was a brilliant analogy actually to put it together. Because how many times in life do we actually tune into Shit FM, to be very honest, and we are surprised why we don't get the results that we want to have as a goal.
That's like every news channel now is the regular news. Why do I ever pay attention to that?
And you're absolutely right. We shouldn't actually, because when you will have noticed yourself being a go-giver at the core. And I love your story, and I love what you're doing. You're sending out cards to people and everything, and that's what you've been doing all your business life. But you're giving value to them. Such a nice card. I give you an example when I buy on Amazon something. So I bought something on Amazon, and then it was actually not directly Amazon selling it to me. It was an outside supplier selling via Amazon, right?
Yeah.
And it was just, it was really silly. It was just, I bought some, actually here, I can show you. I actually bought this one here. This is a quote from Wicked the musical.
Oh, nice.
So keep dancing through. And I love that one. So I bought that on Amazon. So, and actually I got it. And then I opened the package, and inside the package was a little package of gummy bears and a personal handwritten card with saying, "Dear Chris, thank you very much for your order. We are a small business, and we do really appreciate everything is done handmade here, and we do appreciate your business, and please come back to us if you do." This was awesome. This was so much more value to me than the actual item that I purchased. And it's so funny. And that's where I say this is the go-giver way, where you give an added value to a person that was not expected. So what did I do? I bought from them.
Nice.
Right? Another one. See
nice.
Like, and that is what it is. It's just like how you do. And actually I bought several of them and actually gave them to friends of mine and things like that. But that is just because she gave me so much extra value on that point where, that's why I went business. And that's why I went and gave her more business. And I think that's where this entire go-giver principle comes in really hardly to us as people. To realize
so many
too much more, we went more that it's not about money all the time. And we always think value is money. And yes, but time is value as well. Giving time.
It doesn't have to be. I think I'm in the direct sales world, and many of them believe that it's a discount that makes people stay with you and buy from you. And I don't think that's true. I think it's a note, a card. I tape a little candy on their receipt, or I write thank you in red marker like it's lipstick. I think it's taking the time to give them extra value, like you said, that makes people want to buy from you rather than buy from the other person.
Yeah, and that is, and actually, as I said, what are you creating? It is an emotion, and we are emotional human beings. So our main system that we operate with is how does it make me feel? And if I can say it makes me feel good, that's when I'm more likely to remember the person and as well to buy from them. The same thing, as I say, we come back to Apple. How does make me a Mac feel, or how did Apple make me feel for all these years? They always make me feel that I'm a technophobe, so I'm actually quite lucky that I operate it. So they made me feel I can operate these things. So they made me feel good about myself. When the iPhone came out, the first iPhone, well, it's many years back now. It's like almost 17 years, I think, sorry now. So it really made me feel like, wow, I'm stepping into the next, millennia actually here. Like, from going from a phone that had keys, and I had a BlackBerry for so many years. And I loved my BlackBerry because I had all these buttons on it, and I didn't have to do like 3 times 1 and 4 times 5 to actually get the text there. With the BlackBerry, I had a keyboard and I could type on it. So then Apple came out and just told me, you don't need this keyboard anymore. We show you a different way. So, and obviously that what it made me feel, that I was able to keep up with the technology, even with my age at that time. It's like nowadays kids at 5, they know your iPad
Right.
like you do, obviously. But this is the funny
I
thing.
go to my kid when I have a problem.
So, and that's how it is, but that's how they make you feel, and they made you feel special. The way how when you get your MacBook, how it is packaged, how it is actually, it's very exclusive. So you feel like you're not buying just another thing from the store. You're just buying something really premium and everything. So they make you feel special as well. Yes, you pay the price for it, but you don't mind about the price, because when you call their customer service, they're there 24 hours, seven days a week, and they make you feel like you're the most important customer they have today on that call. And I think that's where customer service excellence comes in, and which has been forgotten by many people nowadays. And this is for me as a coach, when I coach executives, that's what I make them understand as well. Well, how do you make your family, your employees, your customers feel when you present yourself? Are you just going down and rambling down the numbers? Because that's not really interesting to me as a customer. It's great that you have this newest product, but if that doesn't resonate with me on my emotional level, I'm not going to buy this product, right? So it's everything basic connected to feeling, and we don't realize that most of the time. That's the marketing specialists have figured it out many years ago. We go back to the Marlboro men, freedom, smoking and freedom, and actually, but that's what it was. It was making people feel, when they were smoking Marlboro, it was making them feel they now part of the cowboy culture. And but they have figured it out, really. This is how subliminal messages work actually in marketing. And that's why people in marketing get paid a lot of money for that, how they make them other people feel to actually buy their product. And so, yeah, it's all on that level. But, as I said, the core message for me is always being a go-giver, giving the value to the people and make them feel special. And then I think you're doing the right thing, and everything else will fall into place. People will come to you and buy from you and get products from you. And I love the way how, and that's why I wanted to talk to you as well about, I love your story about how you figured out to do proper marketing in business, where you just by coincidence, and you always say that on your show, and I really love that way you say that it's like one thing. And I think Brendan said the other day in the Go Giver Alliance, is like, what he loved your comment was like, you took all the information how to do business, you crumbled it up, and you lit it up in fire, and you did exactly the opposite that everybody's telling you. That is right, because it's your authentic you. And that's why you've been so successful, Lisa, because you've always been authentic to yourself. And you learn so much from other businesses. And actually, when you look out, get out of your little box, like your little mind box here, and look left and right, and you see, oh my God, there's a complete different world to explore, right? And you don't have to do Facebook ads, and you don't have to do post every day on social media. That's great, you're doing the show, but you don't need to do that on a daily basis, because people will respect you for your authenticity and for what you do in your business. And I think that is the most core value as well, that you have to be yourself and be open to other ideas, because we all get so focused on one thing and we don't look left and right where
I don't think Brendan even knew how much of a compliment I considered that. Because I thought that is like the best thing anybody's ever said to me. I don't know why that I've always just wanted to be successful on my own terms, I guess. But anyway, so direct sellers, I think, even though you mostly deal with the top C-suite people, I think direct sellers are the owners of their own business. Even though we're sales reps for other companies, we have that kind of control in our business where we should be the ones adding value to the customer and our team members if we're building a team. And I think we shouldn't wait for the company or whatever company we're repping for to set that example or to give that training or whatever it is. We can take hold of this ourselves. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, Yes, my customers are obviously C-level executives. Well, a lot of them. I don't only have C-level executives. I have as well entrepreneurs and small business owners that start their business, and I help them to get the right mindsets. And you're actually right. This is what it is. Even if you're in, I don't want to say this bad MLM word.
I don't consider that a bad thing.
No, but it's a lot of misconception
Right.
on MLM anyway, because everybody thinks that automatically of the pyramid scheme and say, okay, fine, if you're at the top, you're going to make money. If you're in the bottom, you're not. Well, you are, as you said, very well said there. You are actually the manager of your own business. So even if you represent, in your case, Avon, and I'm actually in the side of that one. I'm a Beachbody coach as well. So
Oh, nice.
that's what I do, but I don't use it. I'm not this active Beachbody coach. I'm not really going through the system that much. I use it as one. Some of my executive clients come and say, oh, I really need to work out and I don't have time for the gym. And I say, well, listen, how about you go with Beachbody? Here you go, have Beachbody on demand. You have 1,500 programs that you can run on, and it costs you what, $99 a year, and you can use it, take it everywhere in your planet, and it's like the most amazing programs that they're doing. So yes, well, then you can get Shakeology and everything, and you can add that on, which I do when they ask me, so I consult them on it. But obviously, as you said, I'm my own business owner as well, so I need to understand where I'm going with this business, and it doesn't matter, and I don't automatically buy into the marketing that is put up by the corporate entity itself, because it's great that look at Avon, and I used to be, many years back, I used to be a Thermomix advisor, right? So I have one of these mega cooking machines, and I love Thermomix. But I never liked, what I didn't like was this weekly meeting where they were pushing and do this and do that.
Oh,
and do that.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, and you need to send 1,000, even Beachbody does, I send it out to 1,000 people, send messages, invite. And I'm like, I'm not going to get rid of my friends because I'm annoying them with my messages. If somebody wants to change their body composition, that's fair enough. They will reach out to me because they will know that I'm doing this, and they've seen how I've lost weight and everything on myself. But it's not about following the corporate system. The corporate system is very good in the beginning, and I think to just get your heads around what do I sell and get the tools and techniques that they offer. But if you, as you do a very long time in business already, you quickly realize this doesn't fit everybody, and it won't fit all. There's not one shoe that fits everybody. And unless you are authentic, people do not buy your product, they buy into you.
That's right.
And that's what people forget all the time when they're in business. People, you might go out of your way to a specific supermarket because you like the person that has helped you weeks back, and you go out of your way because you like this person and you know that this person will give you a proper answer. I can go and buy my food right at the corner of the store here, or I can walk 10 meters down the street or 10, 20 feet down the street to go to another shop, but I know the owner is all personalized to me, and he will tell me, oh, no, that is not nice meat, I wouldn't buy that, but buy that one, that is really better, and it's the better cut, whatever. So I buy into him. I don't buy into it's not Marks and Spencer that is around the corner. That is supposed to be one of the best top qualities here in the UK. I have it literally a couple of meters away from me, Marks and Spencer. But I don't go in there. I go to the butcher that is a bit further down the road, which is a little store, has all the thing. But I know the quality, and he will service me personally. I'm not like another number in the customer, and that's what people forget. And that's what, as well, like especially with MLM, people just try to sell the product, and they've forgotten that they didn't look at the problem that the customer has. I'm just reading here really quick the messages. Lisa, your
About
card
the
always
cards.
comes to me in moments when I remember those. I paid, and I saw that you were doing the cards training is coming up, which I really love as well.
Yeah, you know what's funny? The the card thing, I've done that for 12 years. What really has helped my business, I think, is not worrying who I'm sending the card to, whether they'll ever do business with me. I used to think that. I used to think, well, I'm only going to spend my time, money doing cards to people that might do business with me. Now I don't worry about that at all. And now my business, I get more referrals than I've ever got. That now it's not necessarily the person that I sent the card to. But now I absolutely don't think about it at all. All I think about is whether the person would like a card. That's it. I
And
don't
yeah,
have any
exactly.
ulterior motive, and
It,
it works.
and it
That
doesn't
works.
give value to this person, and that's what I think. And
Yeah.
it's really funny because when you say that, I never bought into all the social media in all my years of business. Actually, when I was doing motivational speaking and going on events and even getting my clients, they always came by referrals. And
Oh.
it's sometimes really funny that it was just referrals that came to me from a person that was not even my client, but had listened to a speech I've given or had, some kind of connection to me. And so now recently, I just like a couple of weeks ago, I started to go on LinkedIn because everybody was always telling me you need to go on LinkedIn because Facebook and Instagram doesn't resonate at all with me. I'm not this ditzy person. I cannot do that. I cannot. I can't do that. Sorry, I'm not.
No fish lips for you.
No. That's not my thing. I have an Instagram profile. I never updated. I don't have an idea how to do that. Anyway, but you see, I went to LinkedIn recently because everybody kept telling me, oh, well, you need to go to LinkedIn. For me, in my head, for all these years, LinkedIn was a platform. I'm looking for a job, but I was like, I don't look for a job, do I? It didn't make any sense. Now it makes sense to me after people have explained to me. So I started doing LinkedIn, but I always believed, I'm a firm believer of referrals because, and as you said, it doesn't matter if this person is ever going to do business with you, but even a genuine reaching out to the person, you can make this person's day. They might have posted something on LinkedIn and a very stressful day. And I just do sometimes when I see that, I like the post and I write back in a personal message and I said, I understand what you're going through right now. Maybe try that as a tactic to go around that, because why you're doing that, you're in a procrastination moment. So why are you procrastinating? A lot of people get problems with that and they don't understand. I call it the 5 procrastination operating systems. We have 5 of them actually in there. It's pretty much narrowed down to 5. And and I give them tips and everything, but I don't ask them, oh, do you want to become a client? No, I don't. they just, and they're so thankful. They might not become my client, fair enough, but they will probably remember that I helped them out in that particular moment with just a simple message. And it is so easy, and that is just value giving to them. And if you are in core a go-giver, and as you said, then you do it without any thought afterwards. You trust, obviously, one of the 5 stratospheric laws is basically that you trust that you receive. But you trust in that. You don't even need to look for it. Go not into a business relation, in a relationship with a person. What do I get out of it? And that's what 90% of people do. Unfortunately, they look, first of all, what are they getting out of it?
Right.
They do something. They even say, oh, I'm giving for the charity. But in the aftermind, it is already like, okay, I can tax deduct it. So you actually already thinking
or
about
tell everybody,
yeah,
or tell everybody on Facebook that you did it, so everybody will,
exactly. And it's just about these things where we can actually have that way easier is when you do what you do just because you do it as a genuine gesture. And it will come back to you. As you said, you get more referrals because you will have made this person special. You made them feel special, and they are special at that moment. And then it comes back to what I said earlier. how did you make them feel? And if you make them feel positive and good about themselves, they will remember you. And they will, at one stage, when somebody mentions to them, oh my God, I really need a coach, they will remember me and they will say, oh, go, this person actually really does that and he's really genuine about it. And that is what it's all about, you know.
I think it's fun what Bob Berg says about if you're just dealing on price, then you're just a commodity. Where if you're, you know what I mean, if you're dealing on value, that's how you set yourself apart. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, because even in not necessarily Avon only, but in direct sales, somehow they've convinced themselves they have outrageously unique products. Which, I mean, yes, they're awesome, but will the deodorant we sell be pretty similar to the deodorant down at Rite Aid? Probably. I'm sure there isn't some wild magic deodorant formula that we're selling. So I think you have to deal with value, and that's your personality. Now, how do we work around this, by the way? There's a dentist in my town that she's making a mistake that I see, but I don't even know. All I can do is tell my other friends so that they don't do it. I can't help her. But, I actually moved dentist somewhere else after being there many, many years because her personality is offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But she's redoing her outside, redoing her building. She has all the latest equipment. The guy I moved to has none of that. He has the older equipment and everything. And I'm willing to drive 45 minutes to go to the new dentist because he's nice. Yeah, how do you, so I think people should realize that makes a big difference, being pleasant to the customer.
And that's why it comes back to what I said. How do they make you feel? And if they make you feel positive, you don't mind driving 45 minutes.
Yes.
That's the funny thing. They cannot have the most modern equipment and the most modern technology, and they're the best of the best. But if they are not genuine, interested in
and
you,
word gets around, because she has a big banner out front, new customers wanted. She's redid her whole thing, spent a whole bunch on landscaping, and someone said to me, I saw your car there, did you go there? I said, yeah, but I don't recommend her. And so all the money she spent on her thing
comes to the thing. One bad experience, we are likely to tell that to as many people, basically,
Yeah.
right? One good experience we might tell to 7 people in total. So, but if we have a bad experience, we're going to tell it to everybody. So, and it's really funny how it is, because exactly, it made you feel in that we go back to the go-giver, undervalued. You're happy to exchange whatever your insurance, your money, with a service provided. But if the service is not provided, it's not only the fixing your teeth, it's just about how did she actually do it and how she acted. And if you feel offended by the way she acts to you, looking up, down, and I see that a lot of times for people, especially in sales, they look down on you when you're like, giving it a very good example, there are so many great movies out on this planet, but look at Pretty Woman. When she walked into the shop and they looked down at her and like,
oh yeah,
there's nothing for you here, right? Yeah. And then she comes back and you said, big mistake.
big, huge. I love that movie. You know what? I'm like Rocky Horror Picture Show with that movie. I start yelling out the lines before they happen. Yeah, I love that movie.
But you see, this is so funny, and that actually shows you exactly what we have been talking about here. Is like they made her feel horrible. She already had an issue going there anyway, but then they made her feel horrible.
Right.
And then actually she came back and she's like, right, so here is your bloody mistake. And having a dentist like this, I mean, she might do everything we do that, but she will not be long-term. She will not be really successful in business, as much money she spends in there, if she doesn't change her attitude. And
how do you tell somebody that, though? How does somebody, that is, I believe that is a coachable thing.
It is.
If she knows about it, but
then what holds you back of telling her?
oh, I actually don't want to interact with her anymore. I don't want to, because when I left, I told her I was leaving, that because she said, you have no choice in what you have done for work. You're going to get this done and this done and this done. And of course, as the customer, I get to choose that kind of stuff. So I said, no, I'm going somewhere else. And she kept calling my phone and leaving messages wanting to try to make me stay. And it was too late by then. So I don't want to interact with her because it's like poking the bear. She just wouldn't leave me alone. I had to actually ignore her voicemail. So the last thing I want to do is interact with her. But I was thinking more like my colleagues. Sometimes maybe they don't realize that they have more control over their personality than they're thinking. Even if they have to turn it on and off, you need to be pleasant to your customers, not annoyed when they call. Don't answer if you're annoyed. You know what I mean? If a customer calls and you're annoyed, just don't answer. Because I see people in our industry, probably in all industries, that
that is a common thing. It's like the first thing I always say to people is like, do not, if you're in a bad mood, first of all, take a step back. Don't answer the call. Great advice. I say that the same thing to anybody that I coach. It's like, do not interact here right now. Just take a breath, breathe in, breathe out. And if it's really annoying you, sleep over it for 24 hours because you're probably going to see it in a different angle at that moment. And that is one of the core lessons you have to learn. And actually, as I said, it's coachable. Everything that is coachable. It's just like to learn this, to take this step backward and actually looking at it, unfortunately as well but we do complain about other people as well. And that's why I think sometimes it's very important to actually say your feelings. Don't go on to the level, on a down level where you say, actually, you're blaming the person. But what you can do in a situation like this is that, I do appreciate what you're saying. However, can I tell you how it makes me feel? And they will answer yes, probably. I say, oh, okay, fair enough. And then you tell them how you feel or how they make you feel. And then you give it back to them and let them come back to you and say, okay, reflect on it and say, so do you understand how it makes me feel? What do you think now about it? And so you're giving the ball back to them and they will actually start automatically to reflect. So you're not blaming them, but you just said, this just made me feel that way. And sometimes this is a complete communication breakdown because they might not have even had the intention to be like this. As you said, they don't even realize that most of the time.
So you probably would have said something more to the dentist if it was your dentist.
Yes, I would have said that. I would have said to her, I said, listen, I understand what you're saying here right now, but do you permit me to, and actually always ask for permission, do you permit me to tell you how that makes me feel? And then most of the people go like, oh, wow, did that actually do something? And then when you tell them in a nice and gentle way, but direct, I'm very direct. I'm a very direct person. I don't know. And I tell them, but then they sometimes even shocked because they don't even have the vision on how we perceive them. They don't understand how they're perceived by us because they cannot see that. They think they, in their way of thinking, they think they're really polite and they're just helping you, but they don't even realize when they're not. So we have been, and that is the thing, it's a problem in society, Lisa, that actually we have forgotten about how to communicate. And this is a problem of our devices, actually, because we are all in short forms and everything is texted and written out, and we don't even know anymore how to communicate properly. And it is based in relationships, the same thing. It's how do you communicate? Are you actually expressing your feeling? And we're coming always back to, we're always coming back to the emotion. How does it make me feel? And if we don't act on that particular thing and tell them how do we feel, how are they supposed to know that they made us feel that way.
You know, though customers, like our customers, this is what I got from the whole dentist situation. Wasn't about the dentist, because I'm happy to go to the other guy. But I realized that if I have a customer that disappears, I should be looking at my interactions with that customer, because most customers won't tell you why they left. So I should make sure that I'm looking at, did I give her an order in a good, timely way? Did I thank her? Did I send her a card? Did I give her the value I could have given her? Because I think most customers will disappear. And if you're not thinking about it, you're not looking at your systems.
No, you don't. And that is why this is a big problem with self-reflection, right? Because people have a big issue with being in a self-reflective way, and we do have these we have this tendency is that we always look at the problems of other people first, right? We don't look into ourselves and say, is there anything that I could have done differently that would have kept my customer? Because we always think we are right. Why do we do that? Because it is our values that we have placed on ourselves, basically. We just think that that's what we do, that's why we're in business, that's what we do now. But I always, and that's why I end always my coaching sessions with, and I find it really important to ask. I asked every customer, and I just had like 3 sessions before we came into the interview today. I always ask them, what could I have done better in this coaching session today? What would you like me to do differently? And what was the biggest value you got from this session today?
Wow, that's awesome.
And it's actually really appreciating them, because they have feelings about what they're doing. And they might have gone through a really struggling session. Like today, I had a very hard session with somebody, right? And the person broke out in tears and everything, and that is all good. We acknowledge that, but that happens. I told the other day, I'm doing the IFS system, the internal family system as well. So we're going really deep sometimes, and where your problems come from, right? So, but that's okay, because as a coach, I sit there and I let them vent it out. But then obviously asking them, what is your biggest win now for today? And what did you feel was the biggest value? And what can I do better next time? It gives for me as well, questioning myself every time as a coach. Do I do the right thing? Should I have stopped this particular moment there when that came up? Or was it good that I'd gone through? Most of the time they say, no, that was good because I really needed to get it out. And they have been carrying that around with them for years, right? And they feel now suddenly, for coaching is like therapy. It's the same way. I always see it that way. It's very different, because therapy and coaching has a very big difference. And that's actually on my website, where I say why coaching and what's the difference between the two of them. But we both we are basically working with the self, with the person as itself, and they have limiting beliefs and feelings and etc. And we really need to be very gentle sometimes to go through these things. But they have been carrying around, and they never feel safe to speak out what is bothering themselves. And you see, even her as a dentist, I'm not trying to break a leg for her here right now, but I'm saying she might have really personal issues with herself, that she's so abrupt and she has these walls.
I don't think she realizes it, right? And which is,
and I think that's the poor part of it, because obviously, if somebody would tell her and say,
oh yeah, but it's not going to be me, me or the other customers that have left. See, I think that's what I want to make sure the people listening though realize, that it's like a restaurant. I always think that when I'm watching Restaurant Impossible and stuff, customers they don't necessarily send their meal back. They don't necessarily tell you the food wasn't good. They just don't come back.
But do you
and
see,
in direct sales, that's the same too. They just won't buy from you again. They'll wander off.
But do you see with Gordon Ramsay, that's why I have a very good example here, which I really like in this part in the show, is when he invites these customers
them to come back and tell them, right?
And tell them. And you see how sometimes they go like,
and they have no idea.
They have no idea. They had no
Yeah.
idea. I mean, there are people that are really stuck up and they don't want to hear it anyway. But
Right.
that's the point. But it is like, you can, but it brings it back to one of my core sentences I always say is like, if you change nothing, nothing changes. So it's like,
Oh, I like your other one. Wait. Yeah, now that you said that, I like it. You won't tweak yourself to a big vision. You'll need to make significant changes. I love that
yes,
because that is so true. You're not going to just change little stuff.
no,
I love
you
that.
can't. You can't tweak yourself. You can, yes, you can change little things. And we always say, oh, start with little steps. But these little steps always have to have a goal on a big step. So we have to, first of all, say, where do I want to go? And it's not going to happen if you just do like these little changes. You need to really completely change your framework, how you operate and think. And so it's really, really important to do that. And you see that is like, we're so set in our society. When you look at as a child, you're born, you're empty. Let's put it that way. You're empty. And then we get influenced by everything around us, by our culture, by our family, by our upbringing, by our school teachers, by everything. And another thing that I always say, like, the bigger the lie, the more people believe it, right? And so, and it's the truth. I mean, sorry, I have German heritage. Look at Adolf Hitler. I'm very, very sorry. The bigger the lie, the more people believed it, and there were a lot of people believing him. So this is the funny thing about it, because people with this sentence, actually, yesterday I had a conversation with my neighbor. She's saying, oh, well, cats and dogs are colorblind. And I said, no, they're not. No, I went to my vet the last couple of days ago, and she told me that they are colorblind. And I said, no, they're not. They do see color, and dog sees blue, yellow, green. It doesn't see red. They see orange phase. That's a bit like violet more, and black and white they do see as well. But they don't see the reddish area is too much. Cats is even a bit more restricted. They are really yellow, green, and violet, basically what they see. But they do see colors. But it is an old thing that we have been ingrained by school and everything. They always have been saying that. Going back actually to the 47, where one of the dog trainer authors wrote in a book that the dogs only see black and white. And that's where it's coming. That's the origin where it's coming from. But look, this is a big lie. And by now science has been all over that. But we still believe in that. And it's still a common saying that dogs are colorblind. No, they're not. And we had this argument, and I just went, and eventually I went like, Google, here you go. Oh my God, why did my vet not know it? And I said, well, that's an interesting part, because the vet doesn't even, and that's, you see how stuck up people actually are in their thought processes. And when you tame them, just turn them around a bit like you did with your car, which I love with the sales. You said, I'm not going to do this Facebook, 1,000 messages, everything. How can I do it differently? And you saw this plastering a car, how it was, but you had this vision where you're going to like, oh, right, there's something else. Oh, yeah, there's something else on this side. We have to get out of our own stuck-up thinking most of the time. And unfortunately, it is ingrained by society to us. And that's where we as coaches come in, where we just take you out of your frameworks and say, shake you. Have a look here.
I don't want us to miss getting your book. Your book is, that's coming right up December 11th. I pre-ordered mine already on Kindle.
Okay,
yes. And I love the fact that you use the F word in the title.
Not everybody likes that. I'll tell you that. Not everybody.
The F word is so functional, really. It can be a noun, it can be a verb. It's just so functional. I love that word.
It's a bit of hypocrisy as well with this word, actually, because people say, "Oh, you can't say that." I actually had an editor in the first chapter, actually, where an editor said to me, and actually said, "Chris, you cannot use the F word in a self-help book, in a self-development book. It's not a fictional character that's swearing." So I went like, yeah, right on. You know what? F off. It's my effing book. And he hung up. And I said, this is not the right editor for me, is it?
Yeah.
Because I'm seriously, and that is weird.
As if people don't use that word every day, anywhere, all the time. a
They
lot of
do,
people.
and that's what it's this is the hypocrisy about it. Because
Yeah.
why can we not use this word? Because again, we use it in our head probably way more often than we do.
Well, it's
Not
just a word.
it's
It's
just
what
a
power
word.
you give it. It's just a word, just right. What power you
Exactly.
give it is up to you. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and it's so funny. It's so funny actually that people don't get it right, and they have it's such a negative thing attached to it for some reason, and that's society again. We just like you shouldn't say that, and I'm like, why should I not? You see, I freaking don't, Carol. I love it.
Sadly, I just like to throw it out there once in a while for the shock factor alone. Not in front of my mother, though. I'm afraid of my mother, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Well, my whole life, she said two things: I brought you into this world, I can take you back out again. But she also said, "Keep it up." She had the look. She said, "Keep it up. You're going to hear two thumps: me hitting you and you hitting the ground." Oh yeah. So I don't say it in front of my mother because I want to live. But so how I'm going to put the link for your book. Is there also a link off your website that's in the scrolling bar for the book?
No, there is not yet. That's going to come now when it's coming out because it's only the Kindle version is coming out first, and the Kindle
Okay.
version does not have the foreword yet. But I actually Anna Munn has agreed to write my foreword,
Oh,
and so she's
nice.
going to write for the paper. So the paper and the printed version comes out a bit later, but the Kindle version is the first version. So I wanted to give access before Christmas to everybody, and I think
That's awesome.
the paperback and the full hard copy will come out in January then. And then Anna has really kindly agreed to write the foreword, which I'm so excited about because what an amazing woman is. And we are so aligned with trauma work and to deal with helping people actually. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
very honored that she has agreed to write the foreword.
Well, I'm going to put the link for the book in the Monday Morning Madness group,
Thank
along
you.
with this is going to get posted on YouTube, and I'll put it in the comments below. So
Yes.
that'll be there. But I already pre-ordered mine, so everybody go pre-order the book
Thank you. Thank
because
you.
Chris is awesome. And thank you so much. I have one question left, and then it's a wrap. I
Okay.
really appreciate you spending the hour with us. I think this has been awesome.
Thank you.
But the one question left, okay, do you like cookies, brownies, or sea salt caramels?
Sea
What is
salt
your thing?
caramel.
Oh, there you go. That's my new favorite, sea salt caramels. There you go. So I will be
Lovely.
sending the, I'll be sending those right over, and I really appreciate you, Chris. I really
Thank
do.
you. I
Thank
do
you so
thank you
much.
for you being on your show. It was such a pleasure. And I was asking Esther, I said, so how is it going? How is she? And she's like, so easy. It's such a nice chat. It's like always you get worried when you go into an interview. It's like you don't know where it goes because it's not scripted. And I love that when it's not scripted. When you do like CBS or whatever, they have sometimes like they really tell you what they want to
Oh,
talk
the
about. And you sit there
teleprompter.
and you need to sit there and you say, like, yeah, and you need to watch every word you're gonna say because
Oh, geez. I
thank you,
think this
Carol. It
is
was my pleasure to be there.
I think this brings the listeners so much more value when it's unscripted.
It
Don't
is.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same thing that we do that. We do that in we have Tuesday tomorrow. We have the Sparkle Hour, Kellyanne and I, and we have sometimes guests, and sometimes it's just between the two of us. We're talking about life basically and give tips and tricks how we can do that. And I have to be very honest. This is what we love as well. We have a fast question in the beginning where we ask you like pizza or pasta and things like that. We ask you things to get to know you as well and to relax you as well. And then it just goes off and the hour goes fast so quickly. It's just like every time I say, look, we're an hour and it just goes by. And there's probably so much more to talk about actually in life. But it is so nice when it's unscripted because we are human beings and we communicating. And that's what my biggest thing is people forget to communicate. And when you communicate, you actually get way better connection with people. So thank you very much for inviting me. It was my pleasure
Thank
to be here.
you. And if you'll stay right there for a minute, I want to connect with you back in the green room and I'll turn the recording off for everybody.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this morning.
Bye.